stupid mind, without talking to someone, what they should do is this. I just concocted in my mind that was the way they were doing it suddenly now. And so when I was going around and thanking people, I was just thinking of it at the more logical way that the game should have been played. Not the way the game is played, but the way the game should be played, according to me.
According to the rules.
Yeah. I'll just make up my own rules and be like, you know what the rules should have been? And then just invent them. But yeah, there's been lots of instances like that when have got the wrong end of the stick completely, or it was hard to get my driver's license for a while, like, and understand
how challenging is that? Like, if you have ADHD, are they going to look for some evidence or some...
Well, it's not on your license or anything like that. It's not really...
Like you pass or fail?
It's only in schools. It only exists in schools. When you're an adult, it doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. There's no records in it anywhere. No employer says, no one puts it on their CV. No employer is aware of or should be aware of. And it's very weird for adults to go up to tell their boss and say, by the way, I just want you to know that, like... But when you're a kid, holy shit, all your exams are way easier. This way, we're going to photocopy all notes for the students. So students are very well assisted, right, when they're in schools. I was more assisted when I was in schools. People were aware that I had ADHD or some sort of learning difficulty, but the most obvious one was just repeating a year, which wasn't the best way to do it, and my parents completely misinterpreting, thinking I was deaf. But when you're in school, you are very well supported if you have ADHD. Right. And then as soon as you enter university, or as soon as you enter the workplace, like ADHD is not mentioned at all, totally blind, totally invisible.
Like, I have ADHD. Oh, cool. Okay, let's
get back to work. Well, anyway, I'm going to send you 2 email reminders for this. It's like, that doesn't help me at all. That just makes me feel fucking paranoid now. As per my last email that you didn't respond to, which was just a reminder, and I said don't have to respond to, I'm just going to send this one just as per my last, fuck off. Like, you don't need that support. But it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. When you're a teacher, you're expected to basically like, oh yeah, all of these reports done within 3 days, responding to the exam. Fucking hell, that's data entry. Writing reports is hellish for ADHD. Very boring. That's data entry. Very boring. Because you're trying to make them all different, and then some of the kids are just like, listen, you just deserve the same report. Like, what I want to say to you, I also want to say to you for. You know what I mean? It's almost like when you write reports, it's like, I can think there's 5 different messages you want to give. 5. Not as many as fucking 25. They don't have to be different. You just make like, I'm disappointed in you. I'm glad with what you're doing. I know what you're doing, but you could reach your potential. You're far, far below your potential. We need to talk. Fucking phone me, right? Those are the only 5 fucking things I need to tell any student. It's either thumbs fucking up, thumbs fucking down, and in between. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I could give them a score. You've got 5 stars, 4 stars, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
But making each goddamn one individual is hell. It's terrible. It's punishment.
If there are aspiring musicians, let alone the ones who are neurodivergent, what would you tell them?
Practice is more important for people that are neurodivergent. Because it's a very studious and focused sort of activity, like getting better at your scales and knowing your instrument and actually like playing it through. I think that the edge that ADHD musicians have is that they can write loads of songs. They're endlessly inventive. It's like, I got a new song, new melody. It's like, yeah, what happened to that old one? What happened to that one that was classic? Did you write it down? It's like, oh no, I forgot it, and I thought I put it on my phone, but now I've lost my phone. Or, like they can, like, do you know what to see what I mean? Like, so for those that are neurodivergent, that are musical, and there's definitely some people that are not neurodivergent, not ADHD, that are wonderful musicians as well, but I've got different advice for them. Those that are neurodivergent who are musicians, you need to concentrate more on refining and practicing songs and performances and your instrument. You need to concentrate more on the practice. And those that aren't, they need to let go of those things and be more inventive with like trying things that are not supposed to work. You might find something that does actually, or it sounds interesting, creates tension, or you got to. Those people have got to like play against the rules a little bit if they want to be inventive. They've got to like know the rules. Okay, that's great. But now you've got to break them. You know what I mean? Now you've got to deliberately do something. So, but it shouldn't be a minor chord there. It would actually be a major. It's like, yeah, but it sounds cool when it's not quite right. It's like, it sounds more interesting. It sounds more unique. Oh, that means we're going to change keys. Like, well, fucking just do it. Just for that one bar, change your key. Could be weird. Could be cool. Just do it. And I think neurodivergent people, when they're writing music, they're not aware that they're breaking all these rules. It's like speeding up or like changing the key signature. Or it's like, oh, you're doing like 4 bars of 4/4 and then you're doing the 5th bar of 3/4. Did you mean to do that? It's like, I had no idea. I had no idea that I was supposed to be doing that. It's by accident, you know. So that's what ADHD is, or neurodivergent musicians do, is that they just like break the rules unknowingly. And those that aren't need to learn how to break a bit more.
So looking back, what's the biggest game changer for you with learning yourself as a neurodivergent person? Actually
being aware of it, that I would actually like look up videos about it and documentaries about it, shorts about it. And the real game changer was finding out my partner also had ADHD. And so like, there's things that we totally respect about one another and the way that we do things with one another, and we understand like where we're coming from, you know, that we're not crazy. So yeah, like that's a real game changer.
What's next for Electric Tapestry and what's next for Nick?
Well, we're going to play some shows. We're doing a couple of shows outside of Wellington and playing more and releasing new music. Since my accident, I've actually like gotten used to playing a lot of piano parts. And I think what's going to happen with Electric Tapestry after we do these gigs and record that music is there's probably going to be more songs with piano. Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of the future. A bit more keys and a bit more maybe laptop and electronic percussion in our songs. Yeah.
Couple more questions. What is being neurodivergent to you, and what is ADHD?
Being neurodivergent is like basically what I think it means is like thinking in the minority of how the majority of people think. Like you're in the minority concept of way of thinking. Like that. It means anything not the majority actually, because there's not like neurodivergent people all think the same way. It's more that they don't think the mainstream way, you know? So that's a disadvantage for them, because the first realizations they'll come to, or the easiest conclusions they'll come to in way of thinking and working things out, will be a variety of responses, whereas 90% of the population will all answer the same answer.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's not cool, because then you're coming to different conclusions. Is it interesting? Yes. Does it help you write songs? Probably. Does it make you do different things all the time and become inventors and create a new, better way of doing things? Does it help you hyper-focus on a particular thing? Yes, it does. That's your fucking superpower. But sustained focus, that is not. And remembering facts and details, no. You know, so just being aware of it. Yeah.
What is ADHD?
I think that it's sort of the same way as understanding thinking, but it's like sort of just a time of, and not just time of attention, but also what respects your attention. Because if it's not interesting enough, it's just like, no, I'm not interested. And so you're judging all these things, like that's boring, that's boring, that's boring, that's boring. It's very judgy, you know what I mean? And you're judging things very fast. And so I think it goes back to like how I was thinking in terms of like neurodivergence. Like 90% of the population has this time in this list of things that they will be willing to spend their attention on. 90%. And then neurodivergent is all the other data entries. It might be like, you guys can usually concentrate for 20 minutes on a particular thing, and most of the population can, 90%, big block of 20 minutes. And there's like 10, 9, 8, 7, 2, this guy's on like a couple of milliseconds. You know what I mean? And so like you're outside of the norm, but you're not all thinking the same way. You don't all have the same lack of attention. It's a spectrum out there. But for the most part, it's not a spectrum. It's like 90% of the population thinks this way, 90% of the population sort of like can concentrate on these things, these keywords, you know, that way of thinking. The rest of the data is very not collated at all. It's just not that. Right. It's not that, you know, like it's not that intention, it's not that in terms of conclusive thinking and logical thinking.
Welcome,
so-
Nick. Okay, go.
Yeah, it just feels weird in a room full of instruments not to
Yeah.
But yes, good to.
Welcome, Nick.
What was that? A G sharp or?
Oh, you know, you can hear it.
No. That's a good guess though.
Okay.
I knew it was a sharp for some reason. Cause,
Oh, okay.
yeah, because it was closer to you because it was all the black keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is a nice one. This is made of wood.
Yeah, that's a xylophone.
Yeah.
Then those ones are glockenspiels.
Oh. Okay.
Or wait, is it the other way around? Maybe that's the glockenspiel and those are the xylophones. I don't know.
Okay. They're instruments.
Yeah.
Again,